Alright, welcome back guys to another Assassin's Creed Syndicate stream. Today we will be finishing off the last remaining content again, and that is the World War I Rift. So last time we basically finished off with the Jack Ripper DLC, which takes place 20 years after the main game ends in 1888. But yeah, we finished it in one stream, so now, next in the timeline order would be the World War I Rift of Syndicate, which is rather short, which means you're gonna be doing that within like the first hour of the stream or so. And then afterwards you're gonna continue with the next AC game in the timeline order, which would be AC Chronicles Russia. And yeah, Russia will also be a rather short playthrough because we're just gonna be focusing on the story essentials. And yeah, kind of like mostly focused on like the narrative that it has to offer. And yeah, then we're not too far away from starting AC Odyssey either, which would be the next, not in timeline order really, but it's like the most ancient game. And since the last 3 games have been released before the original timeline, we will kind of like play those games also in order of that time. So starting with Odyssey, going over to Origins, and then playing the Fate of Atlantis, the AC Valhalla of course as well. I know I thought of Fate of Atlantis there because it's like the last content I want to be playing. But yeah. Also, Ava Sean, welcome in. And thank you for joining. I hope you also have a good stream today. But yeah, let's go back into the main game here. Won't really be able to play as either Jacob or Evie. We will actually be playing as Jacob's granddaughter, Lydia Fry. Yeah, get to the World War I Rift. We have to go all the way over here. But it's gonna be like a glitch in the Matrix.
Something's up. No slacking on the job, or you'll
Come closer, Cypher. Perhaps we have met before. Perhaps not. You search for an artifact. Let me show you the truth.
And yeah, there she is. Juno. She's of course the major antagonist in the modern day. And throughout the time really for the human race. She's one of the Isu who stand in favor of, you know, kind of like human slavery and them being oppressed by the ones who came before. And she was also active on the side against the war against, in the war against the humans. And yeah, basically she's trying to manipulate multiple people throughout history to have like make her immortal again, I guess, basically be able to walk the earth. Because at this point in time, you know, only her consciousness is kind of like able to walk all the networks across the world, but her body really isn't.
Come closer, Cypher.
Are you there? Your readings are going haywire. Force, get out. You have to get out.
Hello. In the past, you hunt for one of my artifacts, but I come to you today to speak of the future. Follow Lydia Fry. She will lead you to me.
What's the position of the second wave?
1 hour away, at most.
So we gotta use the generator here to attract one of the German spies.
What? I should look into that.
I suspect
Don't worry,
something
it's
is
just
not
the generator
right.
acting up. I'll see to it.
Joining the scrummage. Stop right there!
That's not very polite.
Even in these trying times, we must never forget the laws of common courtesy. Arms down. We appear to have been following the same trail, Miss Fry.
I got here first.
Indeed, you are to be commended. I fear, however, that we have not wholly rooted out the evil in this vicinity.
There's another radio.
Accompany me, if you would be so kind. That second device must be found, or new waves of Zeppelins will soon blanket the heavens.
Short on soldiers, are we?
If you could put your considerable talents to good use at Tower Bridge, you would have the thanks of a brave but beleaguered nation.
I would settle for the right to vote.
We have word of further spies near Tower Bridge. With no haste. The information on that second radio.
Lydia is savage. So hey, Anonymous. Welcome in. Lydia looks way too much like Evie, pretty sure it's the same model. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of similarities. I feel like in the face both they look quite distinguished.
Wherever these people are, trouble is sure to follow.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense she would look a lot like Evie since Jacob and her twins. And Bo, she's like Jacob's granddaughter. Okay, let's have a look at the database here. Born into relative comfort, Jacob's granddaughter Lydia was initially reluctant to enter into the family business, preferring to concentrate on her studies. However, it was this very education that showed her just how much influence the Templars still held over the history of the world. After seeing friends and family fall in the secret battle, she decided to join the fight. Lydia's parents were often engaged in assassin missions across the continent, so the role of the instructor fell to the grandfather Jacob and grandaunt Evie. She became a very well-balanced assassin, one who could carefully access any situation and strike with precision, but one who could also think for herself and improvise when a plan fell through. Lydia found love with a fellow assassin named Sam Crowder, and they were married shortly before the outbreak of the First World War. Assassins from all across Europe were pulled in every direction, in order to have a presence in every theatre of war and a seat of power. For Sam, along with many others from the British Brotherhood enlisted in the army, Lydia took it upon herself to stay and watch over London. After securing the elder Fry safely away in the countryside, Lydia returned to London and worked alone to protect it not only from German spies and the manipulative British right of the Templar Order, but also from any new and strange threats that sought to take advantage of the chaos. And on a mode, I think we get an AC game in this time frame. I don't think anytime soon. I think they're gonna focus definitely on older settings than anything 20th century. I think we might get like snippets every now and then, kind of like similar to the World War I here, because there's definitely potential with also the creation of Abstergo in the 30s, like later of course. But yeah, I don't know, I don't really see them doing like a full-on game set in this time. They pretty openly stated that they kind of want to avoid the 20th century as much as possible. and really focus on kind of like more historical settings, I guess. That's Buddha and that. But yeah, I think it would be cool though. I think it would definitely work having an AC game set in the 20th century. I feel like they could definitely make a combination between the World War I and II time frame, like set it over like 30 years or something. Because World War I is still before Abstergo is created, and then World War II already is caused by Abstergo pretty much, because they manipulate kind of like the different sides against each other. In the aim to use a world war to push capitalism across the world in different kind of like countries, because of course the whole company of Abstergo is based on that principle, controlling through money. And yeah, I think that would be really cool and interesting to have in an AC game. But I don't think Ubisoft is wanting to do anything like that. Because what's kind of like, a really cool scenario for like AC fans, I guess. Most people just aren't interested in, modern day or Abstergo or anything like that. Winston Churchill. Born in 1874 into an influential aristocratic family, Winston believed he was destined for great things from the start, and was obsessed with eclipsing his ancestors. All very healthy, among them his father, Lord Randolph Churchill, who served as the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and the first Duke of Marlborough, and won a series of battles against the French in the War of Spanish Succession, which makes him rather likable in my eyes. In 1895, Winston Churchill joined the British Army, serving in the Indian Northwest frontier and the Sudan. 4 years later, he left to work as a war correspondent, and was taken prisoner by the Boers while reporting on the war in South Africa. He escaped by traveling almost 300 miles into Mozambique. It was after this that he entered politics, quickly developing a reputation for self-aggrandizement, particularly after his highly publicized presence in the police siege on the streets of London, where he allegedly gave direction on the ground. In 1911, he became First Lord of the Admiralty and oversaw the modernization of the British Navy. It was in this position that he was first involved in the First World War, obsessing over how to counter the German submarine threat. Forced to resign over the failed Battle of Gallipoli, Churchill stepped outside of politics to lead the brigade on the Western Front. Experiencing the war firsthand before returning to Britain, where he would become Minister of Munitions in 1917. His supervision of the production and delivery of tanks, planes, and ammo to the front was credited as a significant contributor to Germany's defeat. It was his role during the Second World War for which he is most remembered though. As Prime Minister during the conflict, he was celebrated for his tactical nous, leadership, and steadfast refusal to allow the Nazis to succeed. Later he would continue to shape world events, pushing for social reform in Britain, and winning the Nobel Prize for Literature. He died of a stroke in 1965, arguably having achieved precisely what he set out to do in his youth. hey there Anglo-Saxon, welcome in. So we did finish with the main game and the Jack Ripper DLC. However, we're also playing the game in timeline order of events, like the whole series we played in timeline order so far. So basically we would be doing the World War I Rift as the last thing in Syndicate, since it takes place the latest in the timeline.
Untie me right now. That's my boat.
You'll end up in the river. Let's go. Get her out of here!
She's right there.
I'm getting closer. The radio's close to the river, but I need more than this.
It's a bit beyond your understanding when I say timeline. So basically like the historical order of events, right?
Clever. The radio's in the bridge itself, North Tower. I should drop by and say hello. Let's go!
I really like how they created the atmosphere here for the World War I Rift. You get a bit too meant for whole storyline. It's been so long since you played the game, you think I'm referring to the years that pass. Yeah, exactly, like the entire series you played, kind of like an order of the events. So even in the Colonial Saga, we started with Black Flag, and went to the start of AC3, switched back between Rogue and AC3. Also included Liberation at some point, and yeah, it worked out like each and every year, month and day when a mission took place, essentially. It doesn't include the ancient games, so like I didn't include Odyssey, Origins of Valhalla, and the timeline order. However, once you finish with order up until Chronicles Russia, we will go all the way back to Odyssey, to the most ancient game, and then play those games in timeline order. So going Odyssey, Origins, and then Valhalla. than Lydia. Easy.
This is no place for you.
Where the devil is she?
Where the devil is she?
Which way? There's someone over there!
It is done, sir.
Let us postpone celebrations. One of the bloody blimps has broken through. Not to worry. I have a contingency plan.
Ja, wieder vermisst wer.
The gun is yours. Mr. Churchill assures me you have a right to rifle. We won't damage the Zeppelin from here, but we can shoot down their escorts. More trouble on its way. We won't damage the Zeppelin from here, but we can shoot down their escorts. Over there! They're coming for us! Look out! Look out! In position, and guns are ready! Look out! Ready! Fight them off! That's it! That's it!
Heartwarming sight, Miss Fry.
Your remarkably armed boat deserves a share of recognition.
One of my experimental projects when I was Lord of the Admiralty. I haven't always been a man of shadows.
And I suppose this victory will thrust you back into the limelight.
We may have struck a blow against the enemy, but London is still riddled with German agents. Currently, there's a new group, unlike anything I've seen before. Theirs is a fanatical, almost religious fervor.
And you believe I'm the woman to flush them out?
Indeed. I dare not approach Mr. Asquith without firmer evidence, but I believe they pose an immediate threat. If you can see to this, I give you my word that once I've battled my way back into Parliament, I shall see if something can't be done about your request. As you are aware, a vote can be far more lethal than a bullet or a blade.
Nice.
Once I walked the earth as you do. I was born to the Illuminat caste in the city of Phaeon in the year 2195 of the Isu era. Now I travel the vast corridors of your machines, adrift here within the gray. But I grow stronger. The world is nearly ready for my return. And so I have summoned you to this war-torn simulation to tell you a story. It is our story.
Right, so basically this combines the modern day aspect with World War I historical time frame. And yeah, you get to learn something about Juno's motivations, but it's mostly like a recap of what we already had known in the previous games. There's a very important connection later on though to Juno and Aita, which of course was their husband to her in the Isu time area. So yeah, looking forward to do that. For this one we basically just focus on all of the missions. There's gonna be like a handful, and yeah, we're gonna start with Winston Church over here. But first, let's go ahead and get his viewpoint.
I hope you like my new office, Miss Fry. As you can see, my informants have found some promising leads. Evidence of spy activity has surfaced around the field hospital, St. Catherine's Docks, and the Tower of London. I needn't remind you how crucial it is that we put a stop to these infiltrators.
Right, so that's all the new missions here. Hey there, Seraph. Welcome in. Just imagine if her voice was playing backwards. It's kinda funny because in Origins, when you have a vote and listen to these messages there, there's actually some parts of the audio recording that were played backwards on purpose. So you would have to go ahead and record it and then play it backwards again to be able to realize what they really were saying. But yeah, that's really more for hardcore fans. Like, I didn't even do the effort of doing that. I just watched a YouTube video about it. But yeah. So much of a war you did once, but you think you got away with it? Vote from 40 Towers if you ever got that TV show in Germany. I don't think I've seen that one before. Probably have it in Germany, but not sure if it's ran in the like in the television or something. Gonna be out in about 50 minutes, but back later on if you're still on. I'm gonna be on for let's see. About 2 now, so probably for another 4 to 5 hours or so. I want to stream until we have the AC anniversary celebration stream later that Ubisoft is doing. and that's in about 4 hours time. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing until it happens and then watch it together. Used to live in St. Catherine's Docks. Ah, did you? That's cool. Did you like living there? Of chaos here. So we gotta destroy all of the military equipment here. Let's go ahead and lay some dynamite as well. You just have to look up what 6 PM CT is in UK time, and it's 5 PM though. So 5 PM is the 50th anniversary stuff. Indeed, yeah. Yeah, should be. That's always like 1 hour earlier.
I once loathed the very sight of your kind, in the same way you recoil in the presence of an arachnid. Humans were created by we who came before, the Isu. We crafted you in our image, but deprived you of our true gifts. You were bred for hard labor, and in extreme cases, war. We built great observatories to monitor you, devices to control you. We blessed you with resilience, but cursed you with ambition. And so you rebelled against us. I suppose we are to blame for the state of your species. Is it any wonder so many of these simulations revolve around violence?
Take my sugar! Take anything you like!
I don't have any sugar, Seraph. But you can take everything that the one took from me. Guess the bonnet just never gets old. I could watch like or play like an entire spin-off game with just Steve Bonnet cutscenes or something. Kind of funny, like the other night I watched like an edit of GTA, kind of like making some of the situations in GTA 4 like a sitcom essentially, like you know, inserting like a laugh track and stuff. I feel like you could definitely have a lot of situations with Steve Bonnet as well that could be made possible. But yeah, the sitcom stuff in GTA 4 basically just included Roman and Nico. I like it. But yeah, of course it's Roman. But yeah, honestly, it made me really want to play GTA 4 again. So maybe I'm replaying that earlier rather than later. We're just about to play that sound alert. Yeah, I gotcha. Magpie. The Magpie was a talented thief before the war, and now works as a spy. He was recently captured after eavesdropping on an assassin meeting and is being held in the Tower of London. No worries, Seraph. I'll catch you later.
Miss Fry, I believe I'm quite getting the hang of this espionage business. This one should be of particular interest to you. One of the spies currently detained at the tower has been making some rather fanciful claims about a brotherhood of assassins, no less. You may want to silence him before he causes you and your associates undue trouble. Consider it my gift to you.
You have the guards, kill the spy. Oh, we got the last part here for Niccolo di Pitigliano. I have no choice. Whatever power this thing holds, I must try to unleash it. I wrap myself in the shroud. I begin to vomit, a little at first, but then it flows red as I violently expel my insides. Too much. 1,000 voices shouting at once. My head cannot take it anymore. My body folds upon itself. My muscles pull tighter than should be possible, and I feel my bones snap. I feel the shroud's power. It is tearing me apart. I cannot control it. I'm no longer in control of my own body. It reconfigures as the voices demand. I have stopped breathing. One of my eyes has gone blind. The other is slowly losing focus. I see the assassin approach. Disgusting, he says, as he pulls the shroud from my dying grip. How? How did he know? Well, that was disgusting. I want to see it happen to someone else. Any volunteers? It's kind of interesting because in the Fate of Atlantis DLC there's gonna be something similar happening, where instead of healing them, they will basically be ripped apart. Quite literally. By the last quarter of the 19th century, commerce in the East End has reached such levels that it was necessary to build a new bridge to support its development. The committee in charge of selecting the design had to contend with the difficulty of late 19th century river traffic, which led to the final choice of the two-level bridge. A Lower Basco bridge, which could be raised to allow tall-masted ships to pass, and an upper walkway which pedestrians could use at all times. Construction of Tower Bridge, which earned its name due to its proximity to the Tower of London, began in 1886 and lasted 8 years. It required a monumental engineering effort, not least in the creation of the hydraulic system used to operate the buscoats. Its huge pumping engines were driven by steam until 1976, when they were replaced by an electrical system. The upper walkway was seldom used and became a haunt for criminals and prostitutes, leading to its closure in 1910, which seems a rather unexciting decision, although it gained a new function during the First World War as the site for some of the mainly anti-aircraft guns and started to protect the city from German Zeppelins. The spy must have escaped. The blood is fresh, so he must still be nearby. Okay, we gotta avoid those light beams because they will then shoot us. Alright, so I guess the easiest way to do this is by making him become hallucinogenic. But then we gotta make sure he doesn't die because of bad effects. That should work. Nice.
As our people clashed, we became distracted from an impending doom. A coronal mass ejection from our angry sun. The greatest minds of our time assembled to prevent the coming disaster. Among them, forthright Minerva, proud Jupiter, beloved Aita. We spent years locked away in the Grand Temple, attempting to find salvation. The others could only think of physical solutions. Yet I believed the only way to save us was to transform us. Inspired by the research of the great scientist Consus, I attempted to place Aita's mind into a stronger synthetic body. I failed, and my beloved died in my arms. The others shunned me.
Essentially everything Juno told us so far hasn't really been news to us, at least if we played, the rest of the series. Actually more of a recap like, previously on, kind of. But yeah, it's definitely a good reminder though, in case you've forgotten about, her motivations, and of course that Aita was her beloved, and also as being, the sage, of course, one of the most important characters too, because he also appeared throughout time quite often, since Black Flag especially. Apothecary Twins. A targeting triage center dealings with the overflow of wounded soldiers from nearby hospitals, using the chaos of a war as a cover for their bizarre experiments.
We believe one of the spies is posing as a nurse in the nearby facilities. She has been taking blood samples into odd-looking cubes and delivering them to an unknown accomplice. Perhaps you will be able to spot them during one of these illicit rendezvous. Good luck.
I make my own luck.
Right, so for this we will have to drop the nurse's body in. Question is, what is the morgue here? Not entirely sure.
Don't let her get away!
Hiding from the coppers.
It's a bit of fighting then.
She's ours now! I see her! Come here!
Okay, so that's not the morgue. Maybe it's the other tenant there. Indeed. Is that an incoming? I don't think it is. It is like a regular activity we just didn't have to start it or something. Got us the documents and planned Fort Smith's information apparently.
Nice and easy now.
You're dead!
Not sure where we have to plan the Fort's information war or how we do it. Okay, so I couldn't interact again with this guy. So we must plant the force information somewhere else. Okay. So exactly we have to plant lots of action. It's a question. There must be like something to take with. Thing here. Ah, there it is. That was like really tricky to find. None more Yubashuna wasn't just thrown into the comics, man. Yeah. Yeah, me too. It was a very unsatisfying way of ending her storyline, you know. Considering she's been like such a big part of the kind of like overarching story, really.
All of our efforts came to nothing. In the year 2306 of the Isu era, the sun unleashed its fury on my once great civilization. I perfected the work of Consus and made it my own. I salvaged Aita's brilliant essence and inserted it into the DNA of your rebellious kind. I sent him into the unknown future to be reborn again and again. I returned to the Grand Temple. I shed my physical form and entered the Grey. But stubborn Minerva and foolish Jupiter discovered me and sealed me inside. Entombed, I waited for the day when your technology might allow my return. That wait is nearly over.
Indeed. She's gonna return, right? But not for very long. It's gonna be a short comeback. Right, and then we have one more activity to do before we unlock the final one, I believe. Have a quick look. You have a progress tracker. You have a Master Spy Hunts. Let's see. I think it might be one or two.
Each other's company. How could
I'm gonna do the same with Adafia. Yeah, maybe. Or with Basim as well. Ava Aura, welcome in. How fares the war? Yeah, pretty well so far. We're currently on the last age activity here before we unlock the final type of it. So, almost done. I hope you're having a good day so far.
Alright, Miss Fry. Need any help?
How are you there, Evie? Stirring up no more trouble.
Really enjoy these missions in Syndicate. Yeah, they were like a good variation, I think. Even like still the same Half-like environment, but at a different time. But I really enjoyed Unity 2 with the Helix Rifts. Or are you barely awake but all good otherwise? I mean, it's definitely fair. It's still quite early over where you are, isn't it?
I'll find work elsewhere.
Slice of right!
At 20 AM here. Damn, yeah, that's super early for sure. But I hope you have a good start into the day, Aura. Should be a nice morning. Oh yeah. I really like those that music here. Oddly enough, it reminds me of Better Call Saul, actually, a show that I watched quite a lot in the past years. It became one of my favorites because it's kind of like similar to the theme they use for one of the major characters called Chuck as well. Very, very similar.
We need not be enemies. I intend to build, to transform your age into something greater than you can currently comprehend.
Yeah, it really is an animal. I love Better Call Saul so much. I mean, I'm already a big fan of Breaking Bad, but Better Call Saul really, you know, adds like so many more layers on top of it. Watching it right now. Ah, very nice. what season are you currently watching? Did Juno start the Second World War in this universe? She didn't. The Templars were actually much more involved in that. Because when the Templars created Abstergo Industries in the 30s, they actually worked together with like several leaders across the world, including Churchill, Stalin, Hitler, to create the World War II essentially and to make it happen. Because Abstergo's plan was to basically push capitalism all around the world, and by creating wars, especially in the countries that weren't yet in favor of it, you know, you could like restructure them in favor of what works for Abstergo Industries. So it was basically a plot by the Templars, by Abstergo. On season 4, very nice. Yeah, I don't want to take away anything, but I can tell you, season 5, the newest one, grew in for an absolute treat. Of course, Abstergo's behind it. Yeah, of course, yeah. Lalo was just introduced. Amazing. Yeah, Lalo's actually one of my favorite characters in Better Call Saul. And the actor who plays him is just insanely good. The Master Spy. Last known location, above the carpenter's shop.
Miss Fry has uncovered the location of the sinister cult of spies plaguing our streets. You know your orders, lads. Follow her lead, and let us rid London of this menace.
Nice one! Come on! Again!
Ready to receive codes now.
You like Evie's outfit here? So this is actually Lydia Fry, Aura. She's the granddaughter of Jacob.
You won't find better. Got that.
Evie is probably... How old might Evie be at this point?
Right here.
I think she's probably like 70 during the events of World War I.
The very best.
I think she wouldn't be in the best shape anymore to do like leap of faiths and stuff. Eva Moller, welcome, dude. Good morning. Yeah, no worries, Aura. It's, yeah, they do look quite similar, so it's definitely easy to mistake them, like, based on the looks as well. One of Cassandra's during World War I. Was probably sitting somewhere in a pub in Ireland and teaching people about the word Malacca, something. Not really caring one bit about what's going on. It's still going on about Marcos and Phoebe and Brasidas and stuff. As if that's everything that matters. All while wearing a suit, of course, and a gigantic spear. It's mustache stuff.
Went just as planned.
Don't lose those papers, or it will be your head.
Why they use secret
They're terrified of a few bombs, but soon we'll have hundreds of Zeppelins over London.
Tide is turning in our favor. Our people in Westminster have sent word. We should stay alert.
Okay, look at this. We have a bug where we can actually stand and have the hood on.
We've laid the ground. Now it's up to them.
Incredible. So just one thing, but the fact that they didn't change her hairstyle in 2000 years, unforgivable. Yeah, and which is like still wearing ancient Greek armor in like Valhalla's timeline. I know it's like, you know, she's so stuck in
Not until the blade was in his heart.
like either have a modern time or like her time. It doesn't seem like somebody who actually did live for like 2000 years, you know.
Now it's up to them.
He never suspected a thing. Not until the blade was in his heart.
These documents could well win us the war. These documents could well win us the war. That Fry woman is the end. You will not keep me from her.
And yeah, there he is. This guy just said, "My beloved courts to me," right? So that means that he's actually Aita, one of the sages. However, he's not gonna be any important sage, unlike like Germain in Unity or Bartholomew Roberts, aka Black Bart, in Black Flag. He's just, you know, kind of like one of the German spies essentially that uses his network to, you know, make contact to Juno essentially. Yeah, he's an actual sage.
You won't keep me from my beloved. You can't learn that at school, we young ladies, could she?
Bloody oath.
My beloved calls to me. You will not keep me from her. Stop running, Daniel! She's in my sights. Try actually hitting her! I need help in fighting! I'll eat your eyes! Leave you try!
Excellent work. The ringleader is dead, as are his bizarre disciples.
Is that it then?
Well, there is still a war on.
Then we both have our own affairs to attend to.
Know that you have done a great service to your country. Thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
The man Lydia Fry killed was my husband, Aita, reborn. Known in your time as a sage. Thank you for discovering his fate. His pattern will be added to my own. Perhaps you believe, as other assassins before you, that it is your duty to work against me. But consider this. It was an assassin who freed me from my prison. I am no longer she who lies in wait. I am the mother of wisdom. I am the nexus of flesh and machine. I am Juno. And if the greatest assassin of your generation can see things my way, then perhaps you can too.
Yeah, Desmond didn't really see things your way, Juno. Just saying.
Eagle to nest. Do you read me?
Just didn't see another way. Did she get her hair colored grey since that's her hair in modern day? Maybe. I don't know. A tribewoman? Excuse me, that is Miss Lydia Fry to you. Exactly. Well, you're doing great today, having some coffee and enjoying a nice relaxing day at work. How have you been? Very nice, dude. That sounds very nice. I hope you enjoyed your coffee. That's great, you also have a relaxing day. Definitely, you know, also if it's good to have that every now and then. But yeah, I've been really well for sure. Quite excited to be finishing with Syndicate soon and start something new AC-wise. Yeah. Doing the last bits of content here for what essentially with the World War I Rift. But yeah, but essentially finished it. That was the last mission for World War I believe. Indeed, yeah. It finishes all of the associate activities and London stories now. It's kinda cool they actually give you 100% London stories even if you don't do the Maharaja DLC. It's definitely optional. And yeah, that leaves us at 89% total sync. Quite good actually, considering we wanted to focus only on story stuff. Nice. But yeah guys, this basically finishes our playthrough for Syndicate. In the timeline order at least. Now the next AC game will take place in like shortly after this World War I Rift, because AC Chronicles Russia takes place shortly after the end of the World War I think. So yeah, it's basically like a fluid transition there, except for the location of course. But yeah, that's next, and we're definitely gonna be starting that here today as well in just a few. Okay, so I'm not gonna read everything regarding Juno, the Instruments of the First Woe, and the Sages again, because I talked about it a couple of times already. And we know quite well, you know, how all of those groups work together. But yeah, of course, whenever they play a vital role in the story, like for example later in Valhalla especially, we're gonna of course take a deep dive again and talk about it some more. But yeah, I don't think we have to read this again, since it's like more of a recap anyways. But yeah, that's where we can quit Syndicate and make a start in Chronicles Russia. Let me just go ahead and edit you.
A letter? For me?